MercyLion.
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 MercyLion. They say in life you're not supposed to look into the rearview mirror.
No.
Just move forward.
Move forward.
Well, we're doing away with the mirrors.
We're doing away
We're
with
going to be
mirrors.
looking at our rearview camera.
Okay.
So is that better than the rearview mirror? I mean,
Well, at least you have a record.
We do.
Your memory of what you saw in the rearview mirror as it approaches and hits you could be faltered, as opposed to this that's an impartial observer.
MercyLion.
MercyLion.
We're going to put one of these on our bikes. He already put a dash cam on his bike, and he's loving the mess out of it. The security in knowing that you have a record of someone or something happening, you say is quite liberating.
Zen.
Zen.
I'm telling you, I turn my key on and you hear the little bim, 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 you know, the dash cam is lighting up.
Yep.
And I just instantly feel at ease knowing that I'm out fighting all these people in traffic. Nothing against my riding, but all those idiots out there.
Oh,
If something ever happens to me, I know I've got it on record.
why is it everybody in traffic is an idiot except for you?
I don't know.
And everybody complains about traffic, but you're on the road contributing to it.
We're egocentric people, aren't we? Self-centered.
Yeah, well, yes, we are. Everything is selfish.
Yep.
You give because it makes you feel good.
Yeah,
It's selfish, right?
That's
okay,
right.
so what we're going to do is the M3500 4K Ultra HD, 2 cameras, one in the back, one in the front, and it has a whole bunch of features on the inside that we're going to let you know about. But what we're going to do with mine is currently, I have a really old Garmin. And so what we're going to do is we're going to replace this with this, because at some point I'm going to upgrade this, and I'll throw this in my tank bag just for backup. And so we will go over the features and the things we like and the things we don't like, and we're going to put it up there and see how I like it.
Do a
on my
full
dash.
install. Now, the cool part about the Husqvarna Norden 901 is it provides you with an accessory cable for the switched power.
All kinds of them.
Really easily.
Yeah, several of them underneath the seat.
Mine, I had to use pins and get in there and find a fuse box that wasn't being used. So go check out the video of the installation on the Aprilia Touareg 660. It's a different unit, different manufacturer. The MercyLion has some upgraded features. So when Leona Lee reached out to us from MercyLion,
the reason I say MercyLion, if you really want to know, there's a lion right there. See? MercyLion.
oh,
It's the logo.
well, if you look in the emails, the M and the L are capitalized.
I was right.
Maybe it is. I
All
don't
right,
know.
so moving on. M3500, we're going to install it. It has a lot of features we'll go over. My dash is getting full, which is the reason we're replacing the Garmin rather than adding another screen to my dash. It's just getting a little complicated. We'll see how I like it. It has some extra features like attack and a speed and a GPS, and you can look at the cameras while they're recording front and back.
You're missing the best part.
Tire pressure
is the
monitor,
tire pressure monitor.
Tire
That's
pressure
one thing I
monitoring.
wish I had on mine, and I think that's why it comes with a dash or a screen. Mine didn't come with one. It just sits under the seat.
Yeah, so it give you a warning.
But it can give you a warning. You're riding along and you see your tire pressure start to go down. Hey, maybe I picked up a nail.
Yeah.
And you can pull
The
over.
only downside about the tire pressure monitoring system for this is that I have to get rid of my American flag air caps.
Donation to Chris.
Oh. Okay, anyway, let's get on with it. Enough
All
of the
right,
intro.
Let's get an install going. Stick around, guys.
Unboxing. Isn't that the most favorite part? Christmas, etc., etc. User manual. Probably in a bunch of different flavors. As a matter of fact, nope, all in English. MercyLion. Do it this way.
MercyLion.
MercyLion. Packaging is okay. There's the unit itself with the power and the cameras. Well, the camera connections anyway. Then we have the remote with its functions and a mounting system. Then we have the cameras themselves with the wiring and the 3M stickies. So We have one for the front and one for the back. I think one is 4K and one is 1080 as it is notated on the back. 4K, 1080. 4K goes up front, 1080 goes in the back. I suppose you can flip that if you wanted to. We have some tire pressure mounting or tire pressure sensors. Right there. I'm going to leave these in here so they don't roll away. And then we have a bunch of mounting gizmos for the remote and for the main portion. Here is the rest of the wiring for the power. And there's also a USB, which we'll find out what that's for. Maybe it's to offload the recordings, but from what I understand, you can offload those straight to your phone, or another device. So we'll find out. So I'm gonna leave all that in there, and then we're gonna head over here and start putting things together. So as per our plan, we are going to attempt to affix the new MercyLion to where the Garmin used to be. Now, we're gonna have to figure out if we can do that, because the whole pattern doesn't really fit. So we're going to see if it works. If it doesn't work, I'm going to end up having to put the MercyLion on the handlebars or some other place and keep the Garmin up there. But we shall see, we shall see. So the next step is to remove the Moto pumps. Nice little mention for Moto pumps. They sent us a Garmin mounting system. And so I'm going to move that out of the way, and then we are going to find out, and I think we figured it out, how to use the Moto Pumps mounting system to mount the new MercyLion. I think the whole pattern might just work. Last screw, pull the Moto Pumps off, and underneath, for the Husqvarna, we have the wiring harness already put in place for power. Look at there. We just have to adapt this to the next thing. We'll pull out the original Garmin wiring right here, which we just spread this open and pulled it through, and now all of this is loose. So all we gotta do is unplug that. So we're to take all of the Moto Pump stuff apart so that we can take the MercyLion bracket apart, and we are going to marry the two, hopefully, so that we can use both to make one. Come in here. Short little screw. We're not going to use the arm anymore, nor the screw and washer that go with it. Then we're going to see if this works. So this is going to line up just like this eventually, but this little triangle piece we have to put on the back of the apparatus itself first with these screws. There's an arrow on the little triangle piece that shows you which way is up. All right, so now we got that put on there. We're going to see if it can then be put on here without a whole lot of issue. So what we've done is all of these little holes on Moto Pump, they are threaded. So we drilled out that hole right there so that the screw could fit through it without having to thread it. Then I'm going to take this rubber piece that comes with MercyLion and I'm going to put it there. Also, I want to make one note. I did realize something. In fact, I'm going to take this out of here and I want to show you something. While we were looking at this, and Chris was over there drilling out the thing, I placed the arm that comes with the bar clamp. It goes like that, right? I placed the bar inside the triangle piece that affixes to the back of the MercyLion, and I made the teeth lock in. Hey Chris, come over here and shoot straight down. I want you to look at something. This is absolutely not perpendicular. It's at about a 1 degree angle. If you can see here to here, that's at an angle. And my OCD would have bugged the mess out of me. So they've manufactured, if you notice there's an arrow here and an arrow there. And so that means we are straight up and down. But when you put the teeth in to lock it, it's off about 1 degree, half a degree, and which means that when you look at it, it's going to be cockeyed a little bit. Well, that would be normal for me in my photography business because I always have a 1 degree tilt that I have to fix and edit, but I don't want to look at it that way the whole time, so doing this also alleviates that problem. So MercyLion, fix the teeth. Refigure your teeth position because you need a half a degree shift. That would bug the mess out of me, to tell you the truth. So let's go ahead and put this on here and see if our version of this is going to be better or worse. There we go. That's it. That's all there is. There ain't no more. All right.
Let me see.
There it is. It worked.
Turn it the other way, like you're looking. I'm looking at it. It's sitting on the bike right in front of me, right center, right there.
Cool. So let's just put it up there like that. That's how it's going to go. Let me tilt it up about like that, ladies and germs. All right. Next step, wiring. Huh.
Pull it that way, not up.
That's bizarre.
Let me try. Come on, man.
How's it going? After removing all of the 3M with much difficulty and cleaning the area without any difficulty, eyeballing it. All right, there we go. All right,
And then just start pushing
pulling all of this through like that. So now we will fish the power and the rear camera connectors up to the front. Power is going to run up with the rear camera connector. We're going to tape all these together and pull them up to the dash.
The way I looked at it is it was right behind the
Yeah, right behind the yellow. So after fishing all the wires through the places we wanted to go, we just want to connect all the power and zip tie stuff and put the Moto pumps mount right back in this spot, and then we'll figure out the app. Let's connect power. By the way, I don't know if we saw this or not, but we ran all of the power back. The battery on the Husqvarna is right here underneath what would be the gas tank on a different bike, but it's here. But then our switched power is all the way back here by the tail light that we're going to use. So after we have tested all of that, figured out where we're going to run it, got the slack the way we want it, I've zip tied it in a couple of places underneath just to hold it in place. And now all we have to do is connect everything up. And hopefully, without much issue. There. Rear camera to rear camera. Click. Front camera to front camera. Click. And then we're just going to ball all of this stuff up and put it into the cubby. So after running all of the wires and zip tying them in place and getting a couple of knuckle busters and putting wires and weaving them in and out into places they're not supposed to go, we finally got it hooked up. And so all we have to do is put the Moto pumps mount back in its correct position and then put the screws back in. This is the easy part. Time for electrical. I don't like electrical, but we're going to do electrical anyway because, you know, gotta. Black wire goes to black terminal on the battery. So it's easy enough, huh? Loosen this up just enough to get this to slip in there. Same thing on the other side. For some reason, black goes to black negative, but with this, yellow goes to positive on the battery, and the red wire goes to the switched power, which, if you will look this direction, you will see that we have two on the Norden that come out. One is switched power and one is constant. This is constant, we've checked it. This is switched power, so if you notice we have the red lead, the positive lead, and the negative lead into there with our meter over here, and I'm going to turn on the key, boom, and you see the needle goes up. So we have switched power because it turns on and off with the key, and we know that we have the positive and negative correct because it did it what it was supposed to do instead of going back the other direction. So we're going to take this guy, to clip it, and then strip it. Let's make it a little bit thicker, bend it in half. So we just stick this in here as far as it'll go. Like that. You can see the wire come out the other end. And this is a crimper. Crimp it. Give it a little tug, make sure it's snug. Then we're going to shrink wrap it. Now the moment of truth. The moment of truth. Ouch, that's still hot. Okay. Now is the moment of truth, everybody. Cast your eyes to the monitor here, and we are about to find out if we wired this thing correctly. We have lights. We have more lights. Da, 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 da. Awesome, looky there. And we have menu options. Now we're going to go all the way through the menu here in a few minutes, but we have to do the best part of it all, which is ah. Gotta love that part. We're going to go through the menu and everything in just a second, but I got to do a little tidying up, some zip ties, and I'm going to mount the remote to my handlebars here. Now, to put on the tire pressure monitoring system, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's just like a tire valve stem cap. But on them, make note, there's an A and a B. One has FW, the other has RW. Let's say, kids, what does that stand for? Front wheel, rear wheel. Couple of things to note as this boots up. We have the power button, which short press just makes it go black or to sleep, and a long press actually turns the unit off. OK is while you're outside of the menu, starts and stops the recording. Inside of the menu, it is confirmation of your selection. This cog is to get into the menu and to back out of the current selection of the menu that you're in. And then the up and down buttons are self-explanatory. They go up and down. A lot of these menu things you'll want to take a look at on your own and figure them out. But let's go ahead and stop the recording by hitting OK. And if you'll notice up here, hopefully, it stopped the recording. I pushed it. If you notice, I pushed it, but I didn't push it hard enough, so it beeped on the second push. So you have to make sure that you press these with a little bit of force or it doesn't take the input. The good thing is you can push these with your gloved fingers, but just make sure that you give a positive press and hear the beep. We're going to look at the video, and we're not going to go through every little video or every little menu item here, but we're just going to go through to give you an idea of what is available. So we're going to say yes, video, OK, and then resolution, OK. We're going to choose the resolution that we want, and right now it's on UHD, 30 frames per second. We're just going to leave it there. So we're going to say OK, which backs it up, and then down arrow, obviously, loop recording. 1 minute, 2 minutes, or 3 minutes. I'm going to set it on 2 minutes. Exposure, we're going to leave that alone. Audio, let me see what audio does. Is audio... Nope, it still beeps. So we're going to leave that on for the moment. It might be the voicer that comes on. I might turn that off because I can't understand what she's saying anyway. I don't know what WDR. Timestamp.
WDR might be wide dynamic range, like HDR, but
don't need that.
We'll look at it later.
Timestamp, we definitely want to leave that on. Altitude.
And that's part of the GPS unit. If you notice, appears the GPS module in the back.
So we leave that on.
The GPS module gets you the altitude.
Longitude and latitude is the same.
Yep.
Air pressure on. Compass. Speed switch. What does speed switch mean? I don't know what speed switch means, so I'm just going to leave it off for the moment. Drive G sensor, don't know. Like I said, go through all of these and see what you like. System. Language, it is already English, so that's good. The date today is, what is the date today? The 4th?
5th.
5th. So 2024 is good. Speed unit.
Oh, that's where you want to change that.
Miles per hour. Time zone. Eastern Standard.
You want to go up. We are +5. You're going... Or are we -5?
I don't recall. We are...
Yeah, there it is, New York, -5.
Screen save, don't care. Power, delay power off. 10 seconds is fine. Volume, I'm taking that down to low. Frequency, this is the United States, we're 60 hertz. Fatigue driving, I don't care. Automatic lighting, we're going to turn that on.
That's pretty cool, so it can dim when you approach dusk.
Slope interface. I don't know what it is, so I'm going to leave it on. Tilt indicator. I don't want the tilt indicator. I don't care about that. QR code, that's to shoot with your phone so you can install the app. I already have that. Wi-Fi, that's the name, and the password is 1234567 just so as you know.
Transferring video files to your phone. If you're ever in an incident, they'll transfer really fast.
Rear camera mirror. Don't want to do that. Camera flip. We went ahead and physically turned the cameras right side up so we don't have to camera flip it in the menu. Tire pressure. PSI is what I want.
Okay.
Tire pressure temperature unit. That would be Fahrenheit. Tire pressure reminder is off. Bluetooth. So we're going to pair the remote. Now, one thing I want to make you aware of is if you notice right here, it's blinking. You can't even get into the menu to pair anything if this is recording. So to stop the recording, you hit the OK button and you see it's now no longer blinking. Okay. So to pair the remote, first thing I'm going to do, I've already done this. So I'm going to go ahead and get into, if I can figure out where it is. Bluetooth right there. You say OK, and we go to Bluetooth. So here, if you push and hold the power button, you'll see a little blue light up here. Push and hold. There it is. It blew. And so start pairing. And I've already done it, so it already says it's paired. So that's how you do it, okay? Also, for the tire pressure monitoring, what you would want to do is set it up, but get the units that you want PSI versus bar, and then you'll need to ride for a while. And the tires will then give you a correct output, okay? One thing you'll want to do is pair your phone in the app with Wi-Fi to this, because there are a few things in the phone that you can do that you can't do on the unit itself. And one of the big deals is every time you shut the bike off and turn it back on, it's going to come back to this default view, which is both of the cameras, all of the small information, and your compass. Now, in the app on the phone, you can select one of the cameras to be your view. I think if I were to do a software upgrade suggestion for these guys, is to make on this unit itself a combination or a button so that you can, or a button press on the remote, so that you can switch between full screen front camera or full screen back camera, because I think I would like to be able to see the back camera all the time. I have speed and I have attack and I have all of the other things that this would be showing me, but for example, if I just hit the up or down button, it cycles through different kinds of things that you can display. Speed, tack, lean, angle, a couple of different interfaces, things like that. I might leave it on miles per hour just because it's easy to get to. If I hit the up button or the down button, it'll get us to wherever I want to go. I would prefer to be able to hit a button and see just the rear view camera. So if there's an upgrade, or if there's a software upgrade that you guys are thinking about, please do that. Otherwise, it seems to be a nice gizmo. We'll give you another tip. It says that they recommend that you format the card every couple of weeks. Now there's a 32 gig card that's in here. I'm going to replace it with a much larger card, so I may not have to format it as often, but there is a format reminder in here as well. I have turned off the voice, or at least made it to low, because I don't need it talking to me all the time. And you know, with a little bit of writing and a little bit of practice and a little bit of memorizing some button pushes, then I think we're good to go. All the wiring was pretty easy. Actually implementing the wiring onto the bike was easy. Now fishing it through the small little holes to get it to where I want it to go so it's all nice and pretty, that's a different story altogether. So I think that's about it. So let's wrap this up. You jealous?
I'm jealous.
I've got a monitor. You got no monitor.
You have a monitor. You have TPS.
I also have TPMS. Tire pressure monitoring system.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I wish was on my dash cam. I love the peace of mind of knowing that my rides are recorded in case something happens. But I would love to be able to have a way to monitor my tire pressure, because, you know, you run into cases where you're running on a flat and you're like, something doesn't feel right. Well, you look at your tire pressure and now I will tell you, looking at your screen, I absolutely freaking love how we mounted that, man.
No, it worked out pretty good. We had to do a little configuring and a little, you know, using what we got around here, but it looks great.
Everybody's going to have to do a little fiddling because every bike is different.
And it's pretty neat because I didn't want to clutter up my dash with another thing because I had the Garmin up there. But in actuality, in truth, I hardly ever use the GPS, the Garmin, except to play my music through my phone. I don't use the Garmin for maps. We're always within cell service, and if we're not, you downloaded the maps. So I figured let's just go ahead and replace the Garmin because it is an old unit. It is several years old.
You'd have to replace it soon anyway.
Exactly. So let's see what it's like up here. Yeah. Let's go over a couple of things that I don't like.
Oh, okay.
Right? Okay. Number one, the manual is terrible. It's terrible. I'm just saying, yes, there's something lost in translation, but I'm never going to ignite my bike. I'm just saying, there's a line in there that says, when you ignite your bike. No, I'm not going to ignite my bike. Secondly, there needs to be a couple of other buttons on here for some other purposes, because it is unclear what you have to hit to start the recording here. Right. It's an OK button to start and stop the recording, which is not explained in the manual. Yep. And then the back button obviously is, some of these things are self-explanatory if you ever used a menu before.
I would say it would be nice, you know, if you want to go into the menu, the place that the OK button is located and the cog, if those were reversed, I think that might be a little more intuitive.
Yes, because you have to reach up past a button, hit the OK. It's just the intuition of it is not quite there. I'd like a couple.
I do like, speaking of the buttons, how big they are. You can mash them with a glove.
You do have to mash them pretty good, though.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
you know, you want to have that nice secure press anyway. But
Fair
I
enough.
like that the buttons are, and the buttons on the remote are really nice.
The buttons on the remote are really nice as well. But again, they're labeled funny because SOS means you're an emergency. But in here, SOS means you're going to save that clip so it can't be recorded over.
Maybe it's because you want to save that clip because
just-
you were in an emergency.
The translation is a bit confusing.
Yeah,
I would like a couple of different mounting options because they only gave you a bar mount. So we had to come up with something else and put it on here.
And the bar mount that they do have, like you said earlier, was a little bit off center.
It's a little bit wonky. It's a 1 degree. So if I had put it on the bar mount, it would have been a 1 degree tilt. Would have drove me absolutely bonkers. I do like the way that you plug everything in. That's super easy.
I mean, it was pretty straightforward as far as plugging it in. Everything lit right up. You know, when we turned it on the first time, everything just worked. I thought the install was pretty easy.
The pairing was fairly straightforward as well. I did have to spend a little moment because again, it wasn't mentioned in the manual on how to turn on the remote.
Right.
And I just going by what I thought might work according to other things in my life I have used. I pushed and held the power button until the blue light lit up and it went boom. It's paired. So that's about it, really. That's the overview.
Any other downsides? I don't.
There are lights that you don't know what they do.
Yeah.
There are the tiny little font that is on here.
The manual just says indicator lights.
It's as if this unit is 3 or 4 inches too small for the font that they use on it in the corners.
Gotcha.
I can't see it, even if my eyes were good. It's so tiny in the corners.
Yeah,
Then there's lights in different places that I don't know what they mean.
They do.
And it's simply called an indicator light. It doesn't tell you anything.
Now, I would imagine online they probably have a full PDF instead of just the little booklet that comes with it, so you could probably find all that.
Maybe so, but it's still, it is a manual, so it needs to be
legible
and understandable. But again, the translation is a bit strange.
Yep.
There are some items on here that I don't know that are really applicable. For example, lean angle. It will show you lean angle indicator lights up at the top. But if I'm in a lean, I'm not looking at it.
Right.
So unless it's recording that to show me later what happened, it's absolutely useless. Right? So I'm either going to leave it on speed just to have another GPS because motorcycles are a few percentage off in your speed, and we would use the Garmin on the map to show what our real speed was, and it's always showing a little slower than our onboard. But that really is just about all there is.
Or like you said, being able to have it show you the rear camera
without going into
that
the
way
app.
When you pull up to a stop sign or a stoplight, instead of checking your mirrors, you can always see right in front of you, oh, this guy's coming up pretty fast.
That's right. And that would be, like in a firmware upgrade, it would be awesome if one of these buttons on the remote switched to a toggled between full screen back, full screen front, and default.
And
and then it would be great. That would be great because up here I could just hit the down button and go to the other defaults like just miles per hour, just tack, just whatever. But I need a quick key to get just the back camera, and then it would be perfect.
The addressing your lean angle thing, obviously these are made for all kinds of motorcycles. We're on adventure bikes. I would imagine if I was on a sports bike, I could use that lean angle thing and really figure out some parameters of what my
Except
leans.
you won't be looking at the lights when you're leaning at an angle. You'll be looking at the road. So what's the point? And like I said, unless it's recording that data.
But somebody who is racing on either racetrack or street or whatever, they might. I'm sure they can record that data, but
maybe so.
they could probably make use of that.
We'll see.
But
I'm not sure. I think it's a gidgety.
It is. But they got to throw in all kinds of things for all kinds of different riders.
The screen is very bright.
Yeah.
And it's very clean.
And it's clean. It's clear.
That's fine, and I like it. I wish it was just a little bit bigger and the font was a little bit bigger, and a couple of little other things that just bother me, but that don't work to its potential. I think is what I'm saying. It's got a lot of good stuff in there. The hardware feels good. It's solidly built, et cetera, et cetera. There's just a couple of things that it's like it wasn't built by a motorcycle rider.
Well, maybe they do cars.
Take
or
our
something.
feedback.
Yeah.
Put it into the firmware. None of the things that we said, except for the mounting, are things that you would have to do a redesign.
Right.
It would just be a software upgrade.
Firmware.
Yep. Yep.
But I would have to say, it's got a lot of nice features that I don't have on mine, so I'm a little jealous.
Yep. So there you are.
But
MercyLion.
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 We do want to thank Leona Lee. We appreciate you sending us this to review. And we thought it was a pretty neat product, especially being an early version. I can see some improvement, like you were saying, but it's got some magic in it. It's got some cool stuff.
I will say, and this is just a if I gotta have it, right? If wishes were, right? Spit in one hand, wish in the other, right? Since it already is Bluetooth/Wi-Fi connected to the app on your phone, it wouldn't be all that hard for a firmware for me to be able to control my music on this machine.
Through that.
Right, so with these buttons or with these buttons, we could hit play or pause or skip or whatever. So, I mean, we've already got the connectivity. Just do a little code for me. Just do a little code.
Maybe they'll come out with a new version that has Android Auto or something.
Something like that. CarPlay for Apple.
CarPlay,
yeah. Cool.
But
so
overall,
that's about it.
Yeah.
Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, check out these guys.
And if you're curious about how I installed the other model on the Aprilia, you can check that out. But man, if you are a Norden 901 owner, Husqvarna really hit it out of the park in terms of giving you places to plug stuff in. Having that accessory plug right there.
And this whole console thing is awesome because they ran up a couple of things already for us. That's
correct.
Cool.
Yep.
So that's it. That's another one in the can.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate you watching. Stick around. We got lots of other cool videos coming up soon.
Let's make sure we hit the record button.